Hello everyone, this is Jai from Couch and Keyboard, and here I am doing another Smash player profile, this one for n0ne. Now n0ne is a pretty notable player. Originally grew up in Nicaragua and then moved to Toronto, and has been a top player mainly for Melee for about 10 years now. Has a pretty solid PM player. Did a couple Ultimate events, but mainly known for Melee. Falcon mostly, a little bit of Ganon. Has some other characters like Mario. I think plays Game & Watch online sometimes. Generally known for being the most explosive random Falcon out there. Recently, that's been a little bit unique in terms of some play styles, but generally was known for being the wildest. And been playing for a while. 2014 started to enter some events because apparently he developed a lot of his play style from being in Nicaragua, and then was in Toronto and started to travel a lot more. One thing that I did a lot when I was getting into Smash, I got in a Smash documentary, Smash 4, stuff like that. And there were these videos by these two channels, GR Smash and EMG, Even Matchup Gaming. They even EMG does a lot of stuff with like Gommel, let's make big moves, stuff like that. But they had pretty early access to n0ne, and that kind of boosted his brand a little bit for being just absolutely insane in terms of stuff he would try to do. And yes, rose up the ranks pretty quickly and started doing pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Third to tipped off, that's not bad. 17th pounds. I think that this was kind of like the biggest thing that helped with some notoriety, was getting top 8 at Gommel, his hometown major, beating Pew Pew U, Hugs, and then M2K. This was a big deal. Sheik Falcon for a long time was considered like one of the worst matchups in the game. Even though Falcon was pretty good, it's like, oh, just Sheik beats Falcon every time. So n0ne beating M2K at this event, very good. Lost to some pretty good Foxes, but that's all right. Got Smash and Splash top 8. This one wasn't quite as top heavy. And as later ones, we still did pretty good. Won a few stuff. We started traveling a ton. Being from Latin America and then going up to Canada, became pretty recognized across the world. Started going to more stuff, and I think the excitement of his playstyle definitely helped him. He had some different sponsors. We see here that he had a lot of different sponsors. I think Allegiance for a while, EMG, they were kind of helping him out early. He was with Golden Guardians more recently, and yeah, just doing a really good job in terms of getting some good stuff. Got into Smash Summit 3. This is when they still did double elimination. Lost to Armada and Axe. That's not bad at all. Won an event over Super Famicom. Was a pretty notable event. It was kind of like a little bit like SmashCon, but a little bit more like based off of just older games in general. Beat some pretty good events. This is in North Carolina. So I think this is where I was from, so able to do pretty good there. UGC beat M2K again. Lost to him in the run back, but still got 5th place, pretty good. Genesis was a little rough, but started doing fine. Did pretty good at Bigger Balk, beating Hugs again. Getting 4th place. And then also into Bad Moon Rising 2. I actually interacted with him briefly here. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. He did beat Money Mike in the Falcon Ditto. He was kind of like the Falcon of North Carolina for a long time. Lost to Swedish Delight twice, but Swedish was doing very good at this time. And it started rising up the ranks. We see early on 58, but then was getting pretty consistently top 20 for a lot of this time. And would do okay here and there. First at DreamHack, this wasn't too crazy. Kage, this kid, not too wild. I think both Kage and n0ne were known for playing. n0ne mainly for Falcon, Kage mainly for Ganon, but they both played both some. They had this exhibition that was pretty nutty. But yeah, there'd be a couple that wouldn't go so great. The next Super Famicom did beat Mango. I believe this is in the Falcon Ditto. For some of it, this was a bit. Some people were kind of disappointed in Mango for this loss, but I mean, n0ne still played very well. Sometimes struggled with foxes here and there, but still pretty good. This event was awesome. I'll probably talk about it in a later video. But this was an Invitational 2017 where it didn't really have any like the top level, like the gods and like Levin, Plup and all that. But it had like the next like 14-ish players, and it was really stacked. And getting third place here, wins on Crush, SFAT, KJ8, Shroom, Tlod, Hugs, very good. Definitely helping him. At Full Bloom, he kind of had Hugs' number, but he beat Wizrobe in the Falcon Ditto. That was pretty notable, pretty big upset. Lost in the run back, but that's fine. Got into Smash Summit again, didn't do too hot. Did win on 2 Satan and West balls. That's pretty good, but still some weaknesses here and there. Did all right at some, but generally okay, top 8 at CEO, pretty good. But ultimately lost to Army and Wizrobe. I forget where it was, but he was pretty notable for tweeting mid-match. I'm getting wobbled in my favorite game. What do I do? I think he had lost to Diskit at this point. And so he definitely is. He can sometimes be a quiet guy, but he gets involved with discourse sometimes. He used to insist that UCF was causing phantom hits. I don't know if that was ironic or not, but it was definitely a big thing. Beat SGJ in the Falcon Ditto, pretty good. Getting 4th at Mango Homecoming. Was it Dome Park? No, not this one. I think it was a different Dome Park. But yeah, would do pretty well, then kind of go down a little bit. Smash Summit 8, another tournament he got into. Did lose to Moki, which Moki also being from Toronto. Beat Dreffin and Spud, Dreffin again. So that was good to see. Good in the Falcon match, or Falcon Sheik matchup. But yeah, and then up and down. Very good placing here. Beating pretty good run here. PPU, Ginger, Polish, and Cody. This one being a very Cody was doing very well at this time, but n0ne just destroyed him. It was bad. And sticking in the top 20 range, being surprisingly consistent for how wild his playstyle was, getting number 15 at his peak, and then did all right at Genesis 7, beat SUJ again, beat AMSA, did lose to Hacks and Fiction. So sometimes Fox is kind of a difficult matchup for him. Got into another Invitational. I think that his playstyle definitely helps him with getting into Invitationals. Beat Cody, Spark, Ryo Beats, but not nothing too crazy. Smash Summit 11. He was one of the better players online. Also started streaming more and doing Bond and WizzyFan and all that kind of stuff. Beat Akko and Kadoran. Pretty good there. did get top 8. And sometimes Invitationals didn't go too hot. Did beat Wizrobe, but ultimately didn't get top 8 here. And sometimes struggled in some Invitationals. But his best tournament to date was Genesis 8, to where it beat Snap, Azul, Magi, KGH, and then Hungrybox. HBox was coming off a little bit of a slump online, but in person, HBox was considered to be very good. Did this crazy stomp that HBox wasn't able to meteor cancel. Crazy win. His only HBox win to date. Now J-Mook was going on a tear, so n0ne is kind of overshadowed by J-Mook here. But I mean, also beat AMSA. I think it has proven to be this is a difficult matchup for Yoshi sometimes, but did good. Cody did get a set here again. And did get into Smash Summit 13. This one going better. This is a little bit weird just because of DQs due to COVID. but beat Frenzy twice, beat Laud. This was like a three-way tie between Zane, Laud, and n0ne, where Zane beat n0ne beat Laud, and Laud beat Zane. They had kind of like these tiebreakers. Ultimately, n0ne did not benefit from that. I don't think. But, got a Laud win. That was pretty good. Gommel, another top 8. Staying pretty consistent here. Beating Lucky and S2J, showing that he can still have solid performances against Foxes and Falcons. And LSI, another invitational, didn't do that hot. It was kind of up and down here and there. Off season, this was a unique one where top players were floated, to where he was a very high seed here. Did beat Zane. Now some people don't count this. It's kind of whatever. And ultimately losing to Magi and S2J, not that great. But if you want to count this was his first offline Zane win, and that's a pretty big deal. And then sometimes hasn't done that hot. Riptide, he beat Wizrobe in the Ditto when he was, much lower seeded. Not too hot at some of these. That Battle BC did beat Joshman. This is their only set to date offline, and n0ne took that. And then also at Full House, the last invitational he's been to, had a very good event. Beat Triff, beat Junebug, beat Salt. Had some losses here, but those are pretty fine. I'd say it was pretty surprising that he was able to get to this point. Assault was not feeling the matchup, so switched to Falco. That didn't really work. n0ne is pretty solid against Falco. Obviously have some weaknesses like against Mango and stuff, but does have that Mango set win. I think it might have been a Falcon Ditto for a lot of that set, but still. And then recently, doing okay at Genesis, losing to Aklo and Kadoran. That's not bad. But yeah, definitely kind of had a rough 2024. Had a couple good wins here and there, but does not quite have the peaks of 2016 to over COVID. Like this was a really good stretch. Kind of fallen off since then, but still doing really good. And so kind of seen as not always doing that good in terms of ELO, but still in that top 20 conversation at least. And yeah, so in terms of head-to-head records, Lifetime is very good. Having wins on pretty much everyone besides Jmook and the 2 players he hasn't played yet, both being Luigi's. But I mean, has a pretty solid record against Falco. Has a lot of Ginger wins. Pretty good against Foxes. Recently some people have started to do better against him. Like Moki and him having a pretty good rivalry. Even though they're both Toronto, they haven't played that much. I don't think they really go to locals that much. And then Gommel, the big Toronto major, there's so many players, it's not likely that they're going to play. Usually they're seated apart from each other because they played so much. It's technically ahead on Wizrobe in the Ditto, and has a lot of sets against S2J, positive on Salt. So in the Falcon Ditto is surprisingly good. People consider it to be if you're going wild in the Falcon Ditto, then you're just kind of doing whatever. You're not playing optimally like Wizrobe is. But technically he is positive. I think it would be unlikely. He's taken Zane close, and that one set was pretty good. I don't know. I feel like n0ne has been having it a little bit rough recently. We've seen hasn't played that much. Has a few good wins like this Joshman win, Salt win. But I don't know how much of a believer I am in n0ne. I do think he will probably out of the bottom 4 seeds between him, Dark Gen X, Saucy Main, and Dawson. I do think he will definitely get at least a set win. I think he's probably going to be the highest out of those 4. But I do think that all 4 of them will probably get 13th. If we look down here, I mentioned in the past that having all these characters here makes it difficult for players that the better player of each character. Like Rat Monster, people are going to get a lot of Sasume experience. Jigglypuff for HBox. People are trying to get that Dawson experience. And then a lot of the Foxes are pretty close, but I mean, people are probably going to be practicing for Cody. Sunsei are doing pretty well. Moki, I'd say Josh Man, while he did get top 8 of both, I think there is some weakness there. But Falcon is interesting because very like stylistic differences, but all of them are like not that far from each other. Yeah, Wizrobe, and then Salt, and then n0ne in terms of order, but like I would not say that like it's that different. But I was saying to where I don't know how much n0ne is going to like grind out matchups. He's probably going to play a lot of friendlies, but I don't know how much he's going to necessarily like try and intentionally prepare for matchups. He's just going to do whatever. Like, people are probably not going to go to him for Wizrobe experience. Like, yeah, it's Falcon, but like they do not play that similar. Like, yeah, sometimes he'll do the Wizzy fan stuff, but I'm skeptical how useful it'll be for him. People might just kind of play to play, just doing whatever. But I don't know. I think that he has a decent track record historically, but more recently it's like Like I would probably consider Salt in this matchup. Currently, Josh Man, I don't know. I mean, there's 3 Falcons, so people are going to be prepping for that matchup, and be pretty well equipped. The second most popular character in the bracket. Yeah, you gotta be aware of Luigi, but I would say like Fox and Falcon, people are going to be primed for. So I don't know how I feel about n0ne at this event. I feel like, he definitely has that potential. And I mean, there's a lot of question marks as well. Hasn't played HBox and Magi, and a lot of these other people in a while. I wouldn't necessarily count him in the J-Move matchup. He played Dark Gen X like a long time ago, like in 2017 or something. Aura, very good at the Falcon matchup because of all of that Salt experience. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a little bit of a tougher bracket, just based on who's here and recent experience. But n0ne definitely has that potential. I mean, he was, top 15 at one point. He definitely could get that back, but I'm not sure. If you're a n0ne believer, hey, I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but I'm a little hesitant to be fully bought in. But I just know we're gonna get some excitement here. We have a pretty cool character roster from what I've seen. Falcon being no small part of it. Falcon has kind of been a little bit more absent. We used to be like we had. Like Wizzy, SUJ, n0ne, Gatsu, and then some other ones coming up. But recently, it hasn't been quite as much. But this tournament could definitely be the change of that. I think it's unlikely that all of them are going to go for a run. It's probably going to be most likely it'd be like Wizrobe having a good run, and Salt and n0ne getting out kind of early. But there's a lot of potential for that to change. So I'm very curious to see what will happen. And it's going to be exciting either way. So props to n0ne for getting in. And I'm very curious to see what will happen.